Hey guys, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. There is going to be a press conference today regarding this case. It's going to be at 3 o'clock Pacific time, and I will be watching my football game because it will be 5 o'clock my time, so maybe it'll be halftime. I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to come on live. I know a lot of people are, but if there's anything significant that comes out, I will update you on that. Last night, they announced that the presser was going to happen today, and they also said that the 911 call, we still don't know who, this is the presser information with the link if you want it. They said the 911 call, we still don't know who made it, but they said it came from inside the residence, and it was one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. And the way they worded it, it sounded like it was one of their cell phones, but it wasn't necessarily one of them that called. So hopefully they'll give us a little more clarification on that. But right now, I want to talk about something that just really made me sick. I was deep diving last night, as I do, and there's this guy on Instagram, and he's calling himself the Moscow Slayer. And it just really upset me that there are people out there that are this sick. He's posting stuff that it sounds like he's trying to make us think that he's the one that did it. I don't think he did. I don't think he's involved. I think he's just a very sick individual. His description says that he's a car dealership owner and retired Tier 1 Special Mission Unit JSOC operator, SEAL Team 6. Highly unlikely. This is disturbing. He's following 3 people, and it's Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee. It's just disgusting. Now, I notice on here that some of his posts are gone, but I screenshotted them last night, so I have them that I can show you. But let's just look at a few of these. Like this one says, 2 things that are always on me: my gold calculator watch and my Spyderco military Millie, my most trusted knife. And then I guess this is a Porsche that he wants us to think is his. This one, he says, notice the brownish red cutting edge. She's definitely not a safe queen. And it definitely looks like a K-bar because of the grip. I don't remember seeing this one. I don't know what this is. Okay, I don't know what that is. This one upset me because it's like he's writing about something that happened like during a deployment, but if you kind of read between the lines, he's describing what happened at that house that night. So he says, I don't miss the days of infiltrating houses overseas in the early hours past midnight to kill enemies of the United States. The house was entered after midnight. People were killed. Forced entry with explosives into a target building is commonplace for many units, but it was also not uncommon for terrorizers to leave doors and windows unlocked and unguarded, only to catch some Z's afterwards. There's speculation out there that a window or the sliding door was left open and they were sleeping. Those actions alone, fortunately, would allow us to effortlessly capture or kill any adversaries or high-value targets with suppressed blasters or edged cutting tools. That's exactly how they described the knife before they called it a knife. My point, simple precautions could prevent your demise. I'm sorry, you guys, but I think that's disgusting. So let me show you what isn't up anymore. Get to it here. Bear with me. Still not feeling great, but we're getting through it, right? All right, so this is a picture of 2 knives and a millipede that apparently bit his cat. The caption says, Creamsicle, which I guess is the cat, sustained a venomous millipede bite. Luckily, he survived. Found the millipede a few minutes later and took great pleasure in beheading him, her, it. Second picture from top to bottom, cutting tool, beheaded millipede, justified war crime, and my automatic tactical combative assault Benchmade AFO 9050 SBK knife. I mean, what? And then this one also pissed me off. It is a K-bar knife, and the caption on this one reads, I misplaced my K-bar knife a few days ago. It's a fairly intimidating knife to the average person and has a blade length of 7 inches and an overall length of 12 inches. If you or anyone you may know have stumbled upon her, I would really like her back. I know it's very common in these cases for these wackos to come out of the woodwork, but this is sick. It's like a whole nother level of sick. Why would you call yourself the Moscow Slayer and then post stuff like that? I mean, you have got to have some serious mental issues. Wow. I did see that the Idaho State Police are following this person. I doubt he's probably like some 15-year-old that sits in his house and plays Call of Duty and thinks he's a Navy SEAL. But, I mean, it's still creepy AF. But he probably had absolutely nothing to do with it. Hell, he may not even live there. But why? Why would you do this? It's just, it's gross. It's gross, it's gross, it's gross. And there's some other IG post that I'm going to bring up later that also I'm just like, this is so wrong. This is sick. So let's look at, so this is kind of the updated timeline. On November 12th, 2022 at 2:10 p.m., Ethan paid Kaylee on Venmo and says, yeah. Ethan pays Kaylee, thank you. Ethan pays Jack Katovich, yeah. So here's another Jack, right? Maddie pays Kaylee and says coffee. Maddie charges Kaylee for utilities. From 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., Ethan and Xana were at the Sig Kai house. At 9, Ethan and Xana go back home. From 10 to 1:30, Kaylee and Maddie are at the Corner Club. At 11:40, Ethan pays back Katovich and writes thanks on the Venmo. At 12 a.m., Xana talks to her father and tells him she was home with Ethan, and he said everything seemed normal as usual. November 13th, 1:40 a.m., Maddie and Kaylee are at the grub truck. 1:45 a.m., Maddie and Kaylee are back home. 2:26 a.m. to 2:44 a.m., Kaylee's phone calls with Jack Decor, her ex-boyfriend, 6 times. 2:44 a.m. to 2:52 a.m., Maddie's phone calls to Jack Decor 3 times. 2:52 a.m., Kaylee's phone call to Jack, that was the final call. 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is the estimated time of death, and 11:56 a.m. was when the call was made to 911. So I'm kind of interested in who this Jack is. He's also the first person that donated to Ethan's GoFundMe. So I found this. It says it was the reason that Jack didn't answer. It says the first call to the man Jack Decor was at 2:26 a.m. and there were 6 more over the next 26 minutes, with the final one at 2:52. I think they were talking to her sister. It says Ms. Gonsalves said. She said Mr. Decor, also a student at the university, missed them because he was sleeping, and that her sister's phone account did not show any other calls. Now, I'm kind of wondering, with the calls coming from both girls' phones, like we talked about yesterday, like as soon as Kaylee quit calling, Maddie started calling, and then when Maddie quit calling, Kaylee called again for the last time. I kind of wonder if she's like, because it's her ex, they share a dog together. Apparently, they're still really good friends. But I'm wondering, like, she's calling, he's not picking up. And did she think, let me try your phone and see if he'll pick up for you, kind of thing? But her sister said that the number of calls was not unusual, that Kaylee would frequently call people late at night and often until they picked up, even to ask a mundane question like what she should have for a meal, her sister said. And they had been drinking, so who knows what she was calling him about. The family also said that it says Miss Gonsalves and Mr. Decor, who did not respond to a request to discuss the case, had been a childhood friend of her sister's. She said that they had been dating for years until recently when they decided to take an amicable break. Ms. Gonsalves said she and her family stand behind Jack 100% and know he absolutely had nothing to do with this at all. So there is that. This came out too. It reminds me of in Kylie's case where they would, hang on a second, silence these notifications. Where they would kind of come out and update how many people were working the case and things like that. So it says local, state, and federal officials are involved in the investigation and are processing nearly 500 tips. They have also conducted 38 interviews with individuals who may have information about the murders. MPD has assigned 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, and 5 support staff employees to the case. The FBI has 22 investigators in Moscow, 20 agents in other areas of the United States, and 2 behavioral analysis unit agents working on the case. The Idaho State Police has deployed 20 investigators, 15 state troopers, a public information officer, and a forensic services team to the scene, as well as 15 uniformed troopers to assist with other patrols. So, forensic team came out yesterday and they were looking at tire tracks in front of the house, which, we're talking, a week has gone by, but, I don't know. But it says the forensic team appears to be taking pictures of tire marks in front of the home. 3 members of Idaho State Forensics showed up a few minutes ago and have spent most of their time outside since they have been here. You can see the tire marks below. So there you can kind of see the tire marks behind the guy standing towards the front. And then here is another picture of them. It looks like measuring how long they are, I guess. I don't know, but they're definitely interested in these tire tracks. They also requested for tips, pictures, and videos to be submitted to their tip line. And the area that they are really wanting information for is listed here. It's West Taylor Avenue, the north boundary, West Palouse River Drive, south boundary, Highway 95 south to the 2700 block of Highway 95 south, east boundary, and the Arboretum and Botanical Garden west boundary. My mouth is not working today. I thought this was interesting. Somebody, we had talked about them walking out and not leaving any kind of a blood trail. Somebody had flown a drone over, of course, because, there's always somebody with a drone doing something, right? They flew over the back of the house and took these pictures, and you don't really see any sign of blood. I mean, I know we saw the blood dripping out of the house, but on the concrete itself, I don't see footprints. I don't see droplets. I mean, they could be there and I'm just not seeing them. But I thought that was kind of interesting. And then the stools knocked over by the door. I don't know what that's all about. If forensics did that or that's how they found it. And I thought this was kind of interesting. So I know they've asked people to be, vigilant and call in suspicious activity. So when you go through their police call logs, it's very interesting. There was a lot, and I just picked out 3 examples that I thought were kind of significant. But there's a lot of stuff being reported, and I just wonder, has this been going on all along, or are people just like so hyper vigilant they're starting to notice stuff now? But this was one that I found. It was for a suspicious person / circumstance in the 400 block of Jefferson Street in Moscow at 8:27. And the reporting party states she thinks someone has been trying to enter the residence the past few nights and would like to talk with an officer. And it says there was a report taken. This one, suspicious person or circumstance, Southview Avenue, the Grove Apartments in Moscow at 10 o'clock, male outside taking photos of the upper floors. Reporting party currently watching the male. Male walking east. Officer responded, no report. And this one is a suspicious person or circumstance on South Main Street in Moscow at 3:11. Report of male acting strange and throwing things into a dumpster. Officer responded, no report. So people are definitely keeping their eyes out for anything that seems weird. Now, this is another thing that kind of pisses me off on Instagram. So and this is gone. Thank God I got some screenshots, but this account is gone now. But it was, I'm sure it wasn't really her name anyway, but it was a Sarah Osborne account. And this caption says, okay, so I have a serious question. My cousin wants to make a movie with these girls. It's going to be called Killing the Clones. In the movie, he is going to have to kill the clones in a house and their creators, whether it's strangle, neck snap, drown, stab, or smother. Now, he asked me what to do with them once they're dead. I suggested asking them to have either spandex and a sports bra or short shorts and a tank top. Tell me which one is better. Dressing in this will allow him to undress them. How should he ask these ladies? So this movie, Kill the Clones, this was up on Instagram, Birdman Productions, and Sarah Osborne said, well, here, let me give you the close-up of the caption. And this came out, it was either the day of or the day after the murders. Sarah Osborne, 184. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the long-awaited movie that I've been leaking. The film is about a boyfriend who is fed up with his girlfriend's clones, so he hires a hitman to take them out. And then there's the YouTube link for the movie, but it's not there anymore. So what do you think? I mean, to me, this stuff is really disturbing. It's really disgusting. I don't know why. And this freaking movie. Maybe it was just bad timing, but damn. So I want to go over here to this screen. Court TV had a video out. I saw it last night. I'm not sure if it came out Friday or when, but it was really interesting because they show the forensics that are going on in the house, like right now.
We have a developing situation in Idaho. The investigation continuing into the murder of 4 college students. Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter is joining us live tonight from outside that home. Chanley, you've been there all day, all night. What's happening?
Hey, Vinny, I have some new updates from when I was on with you last, and that is the photographers, the crime scene investigators still inside this home at the time, because we can literally see them through the second-story window in their crime scene suits. You know, they cover themselves so they don't leave anything behind as they collect forensic evidence. We can see them up there on that second floor still working. But in the meantime, the third floor, there was the middle window on the third floor. The light was on when I was live with you last. Now the light is turned off on the third floor. But before we noticed the third floor window light, the light turn off through the window, there were photographers up there, like we witnessed on your show just moments ago on the second floor, CSI taking photos. As we can see now on the second floor, they're taking photos. So they're still actively working this scene. They've been here all day long. It's been roped off with crime scene tape. We see the victim's vehicle still parked out front. We've seen investigators walk in and out of the front door of this home carrying giant boxes, I presume full of evidence. On the back side, we witnessed investigators, of course, taking out evidence from the back door, which is the second floor of this house, through a sliding door. They were actually dusting for fingerprints on the back window pane next to that sliding door. And this is almost a week after 4 University of Idaho students were found brutally murdered inside this home. And what we've been hearing in the report, what's being reported, is that 2 of the victims were on the second floor, where we see now the crime scene investigators collecting forensics, and on the third floor of this home is where they were actually located.
So that is what I had said, that I thought there were two, and 2, and the 2 that survived were in the first level, the basement level, and she kind of just confirmed that the ones that were killed were on the second main level, and the upper level, the third level.
We're also learning some new details from the Moscow Police Department this evening. They're confirming that, of course, the 4 murdered inside were stabbed to death multiple times while they were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds. Maybe they heard what was going on and woke up. We don't know, but we're confirming there's no sign of any sexual assault or what maybe some have speculated as motive in this crime. Also, there were 2 surviving roommates in this multi-room home that were unharmed, and the detectives have ruled them out. They believe that the 2 surviving roommates and a young man that is seen in video at the food truck where 2 of the victims were hours before their death, they've ruled them out. They are not involved in this crime. Additionally, we learned from the police this evening that any rumors that these victims had been tied or gagged, that was not accurate. They still...
Had you guys heard that? Because I hadn't. I did not hear anything about anybody being tied up or gagged, but apparently they weren't.
Though aren't releasing who called 911, because they're saying that these murders happened around maybe 3 or 4 a.m. last Sunday morning. Police were not called until noon, and they arrived to this home with the front door wide open. They've released that there's no signs of forced entry in this home. And when we've been here, we've noticed that the front door has a door handle with a security code lock pad. That some sense of maybe security here at the home, but they say no forced entry.
So did you catch that? They said the front door was wide open. and it's like 20, 30 degrees there, so the house would have been cold. I don't know how the downstairs girls weren't like, damn, it's cold in the house, but whoever came by that found the unconscious person would have found the door wide open, and to use one of the survivors' phones would have had to have come in and gone down the stairs. So I still don't understand why on this call there was no mention of the blood. Like, why would you call it in as an unconscious person? Why wouldn't you say, I don't know what happened, there's blood everywhere or something?
And it's still no murder weapon found. Still no suspect or suspects named. We know that the dumpsters that are to my right and left here at the home, they've collected items. They did mention that. And they also are confirming that they've contacted local businesses here to determine if a fixed blade knife had been recently purchased. The Idaho Statesman had talked to a local hardware owner store, and he says that the police were in town asking about some kind of a combat style or Rambo style knife blade. That's just so scary to think about here, Vinny. And this happened here. I've been out in the town talking to people and neighbors without any arrest and really not much info from the authorities. You know, many people are still on edge and in fear, have left town. I've talked to the neighbors. I know I spoke with one with you live on air just an hour ago, but we've spoken to more since we've been out here. They say that, you know, this is just steps from the University of Idaho campus. A lot of students live here, and so as you can imagine, the parties happen here. We're less than a block from Fraternity Row on campus, where two of the victims were at a party before their deaths. So the neighbors say that, you know, it's usual to have parties in this area at this home where the crime scene is, and it's not unusual to hear, you know, people excited or screaming or, you know, just being loud. The neighbor I talked to earlier said they just put on a fan, they drown out the noise, and they go to sleep. So it is unusually quiet here, and people are being more cautious, not only here in this area, but on the campus. Students have gone home for the Thanksgiving holiday, and you can definitely see, Vinny, the increased security, not just of the campus police and Moscow police, but state police here, as well as the FBI are inside this home right now, and private security. The campus has hired private security as well.
I could understand. And again, you're looking at live pictures, folks. This is inside the murder house. You've got photographers with their protective gear on that are taking pictures of the murder scenes. This is a 3-level house, as Chanley has told us. The murders, we believe, took place on the 2nd and 3rd floor. That 2nd level can be accessed from ground floor behind the home. From this side where Chanley is, that front door kind of goes to the lower level, the basement level. Chanley describing it, a lot of parties, it's college. You got red cups right there. There they are. It's just a typical college house. Typical college kids doing what college kids do, only in this case, someone entered that scene and took the lives of 4 of them. Chanley, so just to, once again, I want to go over the big headlines that you've told us. I want to make sure no one is missing this. And you've got, on the one hand, and correct me if I'm wrong, the murders taking place on the 2nd and 3rd level. Coroner believes everyone may have been sleeping. They think it happened at sometime around 3 in the morning. We've gone through a timeline. It seems everyone got back around 1:45, although there was some reporting from one of the sisters of one of the victims that her sister may have been on the phone with her friend a little bit later, like after 2 o'clock, 2:30 or so. And they're looking for a Rambo-style 6-inch bladed knife is what they believe may be the murder weapon here, although they have not recovered anything. Did I get it all right, Chanley?
Yes, you did, Vinny. And one of the fathers of, I think it was Xana, her dad spoke with her just midnight, you know, the night she was murdered. And you mentioned the knife that they're looking for. The victim was stabbed multiple times in their rooms. It seems as though what we're showing you right now, that's a room on the back side of the 2nd floor that they are inside. And Vinny, we have a photo of what's on the outside of that room, and that's blood seeping through the walls.
I remember it's kind of assumed that that's Xana's room. So that would be where they're at now. Right under that window would be the area where I showed you the photo of the blood dripping out of the house.
Where the crime scene technicians are right now, taking photos and collecting evidence. So it's on the back side of what we're showing you currently. This is such eerie. I mean, that just goes to the magnitude of this scene, the brutality. It's just unbelievable. This is active scene all day. This, we see right now media from all over the nation. As you can tell, Vinny, this is a growing story. This is a community that wants answers, and family members of these victims, as you mentioned, speaking out, even conducting their own investigations, trying to find video from neighbors here. There are tons of neighbors here. And this house is surrounded by other buildings with multiple residences and apartment complex and condos surrounding this kind of on a hill incline. You have to wind your way up a hill. But for GPS, I would not know. I mean, you just can't randomly find this home, Vinny. It is so apparent being here on the ground why the authorities think that this is a targeted attack. Not only were there survivors in the home that were unhurt, but you have to know where you're going to get here, Vinny. It's so clear that whoever did this, or multiple people, we don't know, one or more people that did this, knew who was in this home and where to go and how to get here.
Yeah, that's a key factor, right?
All right, so you guys can go watch it. It was a very interesting video. I don't want to play too much of it. Sorry, my voice is really starting to give out, so I'm going to probably wrap this up. But the family of Kaylee said that there was just tons of evidence removed from the house, that the killer was really sloppy, that he left a mess, and that they are working. That's why they've brought in all the extra people trying to process this magnitude of evidence that they've collected, trying to get DNA processed, things like that. So hopefully that will help get this moving along. Because, we're at a week and we don't have a suspect still, unless they announce that today. But you'd think somebody saw something on a video camera or something with the number of people that live in the area. So hopefully we'll get some good information today. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to expect. It really kind of threw me off when I got the notification last night that they were going to do a presser today on a Sunday, and that they have already scheduled in advance one for Wednesday. So hopefully it is significant. We'll see. At the top is the email and tip line. If you know anything, please contact the police and let them know. Even if you think it's insignificant, it might actually be significant. No tip is ever too small in one of these cases. So please, if you live in the area, or you know somebody that lives in the area, you know someone that goes to school there, share this information with them so they can report it to the right people and hopefully get some answers for these families. It still is just heartbreaking that Thanksgiving's coming up and these four will not be spending it with their families this year. So keep all the families in your prayers. They have siblings and so many friends, and it's a very heartbreaking case. Like I said, I will be watching the presser while I'm watching my football game, and I will update you if anything significant comes out. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me to get the updates on this case, and comment and let me know what you think of this Moscow Slayer guy and the Kill the Clones movie, people. I find it very disturbing. I know I see this kind of crap in a lot of cases, but people were tagging like Kaylee's sister and stuff, and don't do that. They don't need to see this. They're traumatized enough. They don't need this kind of garbage. So, just don't do it. It's not funny. It's sick. So please give this video a thumbs up. you know, the norm. Like, share, subscribe. If you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe and join us. We are a great community. I think one of the best on YouTube. And like I said, leave me your comments. I can't wait to see what you think about this jackass. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.